Hey there, American Horror Story fans. You are tuned in to our very special Halloween episode. And Edward Mordrake is not taking any souls tonight because we are all decked out, looking good in our costumes. But we're talking about The Lady in White, a.k.a. American Horror Story Season 9, Episode 7. Stay tuned.
I'm Maria Menounos, and you're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very special Halloween edition of American Horror Story.
Yeah! Happy Halloween to everybody. Happy Halloween.
Oh, my favorite month. I'm your host, Elena Jordan, but tonight I am Hypodermic Sally from Hotel Season 5. And joining me today, I mean, I went a little 90s, but everybody else got the 80s memo, apparently. Kayla Renee is in the house.
Yes, and you know what, you guys? I got this random phone call. I was in jazzercise class, and so they let me know that, like, you know, their like, host or whatever, their counselor, their teacher, she had to go to camp, so they needed a replacement. So I was like, oh, I could do this.
I heard about that. I think that was...
I had a new job.
Montana's old class. I heard that was a fantastic yoga instructor. That makes sense.
Didn't get to meet her, but yeah, I heard about her.
Montana, that bitch.
Yeah.
Because guess who I am? Everybody watching. Do I look like Brooke? Because I tried.
Yeah.
She looks just like Brooke.
Ryan thinks I look like Brooke. But yeah, I got the white jacket.
I think you look like Brooke.
Thanks, Ryan.
Perfect, spot on, Brooke, but she's actually Alexa Capiello.
I am actually Alexa Capiello, though. Just playing Brooke.
And if you guys are listening to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Spotify, all the good places you can hear us but not see our lovely faces, then get on that YouTube, baby. Look at it.
5-star rating.
We're here. Yes! What can they do while the people are there? Kayla, tell them. Let them know.
You know what? Go ahead and click that subscribe button, you guys. You know, you guys can always watch us every Wednesday night. We always have our troopers and our, you know, longtime fans and stuff like that. But you guys, you know, we need your help. So you guys hit that subscribe button. Subscribe, comment. We always read you guys' comments too. So we love that and appreciate all of that.
Talk to us.
Yes. And keep talking to us tonight, too, because you're actually in the chat as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You guys, we have the chat going on. So, you know, I always do our shout outs. So I'm definitely keeping track of our names. You know, shout out to Lieutenant Blanco, Nicholas Kelly, Scott Gropey, you know, the regulars right now. But, you know, I'll see some more later. Inez, Pill Parker. We'll get into it. So much to unwind this episode.
There's so much this episode. And not only will we be talking about the entire episode, breaking it down, but we'll also be giving our predictions of the end of the episode. We also have a little bit of news and gossip for you guys. And, of course, our special segment, Slashback 80s. Where we talk about the 80s references. Perfect for you guys this evening, too. But before we dive into the specifics of the episode, what did you think overall about this episode? We only have 2 episodes left.
Oh, my goodness. So sad about it.
With the anti-penultimate episode, what did you feel?
To be honest, I was actually, I enjoyed this episode. It was like, it was split up into 2 parts, you know, with the Rita and Brooke situation and then the backstory about Jingles and his relationship. But I was so glad, and I felt like it was much needed. It was almost like a filler episode, but I felt like it was truly needed. And so I was here for it.
Honestly, I didn't feel like it was a filler episode. I was like, oh my God, there's action. And we're figuring, finally they're telling us what the purgatory is and what the rules are. And finally we're learning more about Jingles' past. And the opening scene of this episode got me. I was like, what's going on? And then when I figured out it was Jingles' mom and that was little Jingles, I was like, oh my God.
I got a little Jingles. I know, little Jingles, little chubby Jingles.
Little chubby Jingles.
Little Jingles, little baby Jingles.
Like, that was so cool. I really, honestly, I thought this episode was very well done. It kind of hooked me back in, to be quite frank. So before I was like, meh, what's going on? And now I'm like, ooh, I want to know what's going on next. You know, what's happening next.
Absolutely. But you're not quite frank. You're Brooke. No, I'm sorry.
Oh, that was bad.
That was bad. But I agree with you. The episode was good.
Yeah, it was.
I loved this episode. This is actually one of my favorite episodes of this season, I think.
I love it.
Well done.
I also liked that it incorporated so many of the characters, but did, as you say, it had a very clear A storyline and B storyline, whereas in the past we've seen kind of, I don't want to say convoluted, but multiple storylines, which means that we have limited time with these characters. even though we did have limited time with a lot of these characters, it still felt like we saw everybody, and it felt really fleshed out. And the big thing was getting our dadgum cameos that we have wanted.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
So yeah, diving into the first one, kind of our A storyline, finding out that Camp Redwood was once Camp Golden Star.
Yes.
And Lily Ray.
Oh, I'm so excited. Our Misty Day.
Yeah.
Our good old Misty. We missed her, literally. I love
such a wonderful actress.
Absolutely.
Really.
Killed
Honestly.
that role, literally.
That role could, I mean, she really did. If there's any character I hate more than Margaret, it might be her. But still, like, she was just really good. I don't know how else to describe. She was really, really amazing.
I hate to jump in a little early, but just finding out everything came full circle with her confessions, I was like, you know what, moms? It was all your fault. It's all your fault, Mama.
Also,
Mama Lily.
I mean, not to also jump ahead, but they blatantly ripped that all off from Friday the 13th, right?
Oh,
That
yeah.
whole storyline.
The entire thing.
The entire thing.
Which
Maybe that's why it was so good. No,
Yeah, I mean, literally this entire episode, the whole Lady in White episode, is a very direct ode to Friday the 13th. And we've seen some, like with Chet's death, some very Friday the 13th with the chains and everything, some allegory, some references. But this is the first time that this has been like, okay, we're just going to take the entire storyline. And now it's our show.
Yeah,
I know.
So, but I do think that this worked really, really well. Having that opening scene, as you were talking about, man, the way that this was shot with like the fake outs of Bobby each time, and I mean the direct Friday the 13th references of the counselor and the lifeguards not paying attention while the kid. But this time, instead of him drowning, this is an accident that I'm like, I'm sorry, this is not the lifeguard's fault. What would the lifeguard have done in this scenario? Because he's like, you got hit by a boat, man.
Could have been like, get out, there's a kid in the water, don't run over him with the boat.
Mr. Boat Driver.
Yeah, but Jingles was like, hey, dude, don't do that. And Boatman was like, I'm on my boat, I'm not listening.
That's true,
I'm busy doing boat things.
It's true.
I felt bad. It was like, oh, nobody noticed this little kid splashing in the middle of the lake at one point, and then he like swims to the edge.
That
and
was
then
so
all of a sudden
horrendous.
it was like,
Yeah.
I just, when we were watching it, I was like,
I got a little choked. I got a little lump in my throat. I was like, oh, this is sad. I'm like, oh.
Well, a lump in your throat is better than a propeller to the head, I guess. But yeah, this then going into this scene of Jingles returning back to the camp. And we know from last episode, like when we see him leave little baby Bobby with the dead wife's sister and like, bye Alaska, I've got to go do my Redwood stuff. He is now in Camp Redwood and he sees the dead Jingles that he's like, what? I've seen you before. Why are you still wearing this? What's happening here? Which is the appropriate response.
Yeah.
I'm very glad that he went with something that is like, okay, so many times people see these ghosts. Like, I'm not going to dive into Trevor just quite yet, but his response was a little odd. Whereas, I mean, what did you think of this Jingle versus Jingle meetup? And the fact that these ghosts apparently still have to take pisses.
I know.
Like I was like, they have bodily
and
functions?
they change outfits too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
You
was
guys
gonna
notice
say,
that?
yeah, like Montana was in a whole, she's in a whole different
Montana,
outfit like
we saw
every
her
time.
steal the clothes from the campers that she
you're
killed.
right.
Where
You're
she
right.
point blank was like, ooh, new outfit for me, I'm killing this bitch.
Okay.
And I
All
was
right.
like,
I just thought they had purgatory outfits that they
You know what? To be honest,
know
now
what?
that I think about it, Montana's honestly the only one who's changed. Like Ray is still in the same clothes, Xavier's still in
they
his.
just don't
like,
care. I think it's if you want to, you can, because kind of talk about the character that they've established before, the one that I'm dressed as right now. Friggin' Hypodermic Sally was a ghost in a hotel, and she had different outfits all the
on,
time. It was just the jacket that stayed the same, and the fact that she always wore a choker and did this to her hair. But
they keep up with the times.
yeah, so it's like, so the fact that, I mean, we've seen kind of the same rules established in Hotel, and we've been talking about how this has kind of direct parallels to that season in particular, just because of the rules of the ghost. This is the first time, though, that we've had it broken down. Jingles was brought in, and the only reason he's not killed is because Montana says, hey, no killing until the time for the big slaughter. What did you think of this plan where they explain, look, we've spent forever wandering around. We're bored as hell. We want to be done with this. If we can kill all these people, then the paranormal activity people will show up a la Roanoke and then we'll be freed. What do you think of this plan?
To be honest, I honestly felt like it was awkward, but I was actually kind of glad that they didn't kill Jingles, because him sitting there and then like actually listening to them and actually like, you know, paying attention to their experiences, and then to find out that his mom is still the one haunting them, it was almost like really needed. So it's like if they would have killed him, then we wouldn't have any answers, you know?
Yeah.
So I felt like it was definitely needed.
Same, but in terms of the plan, I think the plan is not a good plan. I don't think that that's going to turn out that way at all.
Really? You don't think that the dead people who just keep killing more people for clothes have good plans?
No, I don't. And honestly, I don't. I understand why they feel like they need to bring. They want to get out. They're doing anything they can to leave, but I just feel like there's probably another way to do it. But I know, like, they can't leave Camp Redwood, so they need to bring people there. I just think maybe they should try to sit people down in conversation, sit the right person down. I don't know. Killing, I feel like killing might not be the way to go here.
The fact that they're so tangible,
right,
is what kills me in this.
He is hilarious.
But yeah, I'm like, the fact that you can have these conversations, it seems like maybe instead of stabbing dude bro who's here with his girlfriend, be like, hey, dude bro, I'm a ghost and this sucks. Can you go get some paranormal people and come back? You don't believe me? Watch me kill myself and then I'll get right back up, and then that's proof, and I don't have to kill you.
Yep.
They're gonna be all terrified. Like,
I know.
If I seen somebody kill themselves and then they came right back to life afterwards, I'd be a little creeped out.
Yeah, but that's the whole point, is to be like, see, I'm a ghost. Like, help me out.
Help me.
To be honest, I kind of expected Jingles. I thought he was gonna like tell them about Margaret. But maybe, I mean, they already know about her, but I thought he was going to kind of like solidify it. Like, you guys, you know what? Like, everything is happening because I went through the same thing with Margaret. Same thing you guys went through. So it's like
time.
Yeah, and that's already been established
story
for
time,
us. Like, we already know.
Everybody thinks it's story time.
And considering that this ends up being a whole big twist. Like, we have, okay, we want to get out of these woods, not only because, as we've established, like, oh, we're stuck here, we're getting bored. And last week, I think we kind of said, like, this doesn't sound like that too bad of a purgatory if you've got a whole big-ass camp instead of, like, a murder house. And it's like, you've got activities. Go archery, hang out. Like, I mean, do some fun
years
things,
went by like minutes. Emptiness and longing you still feel, but then Montana had a great line. She was like, "Well, I felt that in real life, so it was really no difference there."
That's like, just living in LA.
I know,
that's
just
right?
like living in LA, living life as an adult. Pain and fear, and also pleasure, and that, I mean, that. At least they gave us a little bit more of a
I definitely like that they broke down the rules, and not in a way that felt like exposition.
No.
It was in a way that felt very organic, and it seemed like it made sense of them being like, yeah, we're all hanging here, and this is why we're pissed at you, because you killed half of us, and it sucks. Let's tell you about our existence and how much it sucks and why we're so mad at you.
Right.
You cut off my head. I was just trying to drive a bike.
Ray was like, I could have got away. He was like, darn it, I could have got away.
Yeah. But yeah, having this, then bringing in the element of it's not just us in the woods. The reason that we're scared is because there's this creepy woman in white who is terrorizing us. This is technically purgatory, but it's kind of our hell because we have a monster, very upside down-esque. If we're going back to like the whole 80s flashback, it's like, we're not in here alone. We've also got demogorgons, but it's actually your mom.
I think it's funny. Chet's like, yeah, we were all chilling, but you know, some lady in white scared the crap out of me, and now I'm like running for my life. So
I do love too that when Montana kind of volunteers Xavier to be like, okay, yeah, she still hangs out, but it's in this like kind of dumpy shed. We don't really like to go there. It's not like real cool, and she's creepy. And Chet's like, I'm not going back to that bitch's house. Like,
Xavier, you go.
Chet's like, no way, Jose.
Nope. You can go to the hag hut. I'm staying away.
The hag hut. Oh my gosh.
What I call my house. But it's like, no, like terrifying. So the fact that he's even going to confront her shows some bravery, I think, on Jingle's part.
For sure.
What did you think of this confrontation that they have, and this admitting, as we had said before, that it actually was the mom, not Margaret? Margaret did these things, but it was because this evil incarnate that has desecrated this ground, the blood of Leviathan, it is now she's whispered this to make this other.
See, I was a little
happen.
confused about that. I mean, like, you can hear something in your dream, but does that then inspire you to become a mass murderer for the rest of your life?
We see it with Richard Ramirez.
I was going to say, I kind of wonder if she has, like, a satanic, like, touch. You know what I mean? Because it was like she whispered that whatever to Margaret, and Margaret's eyes turned black. So it was like, or I don't know if it was like they turned black or just because it was like the dark lighting, but it just seemed like her eyes, when they opened, they were black, like Ramirez is when, like, you know, the Satan comes into him. So I was like, ooh, moms could probably be a little satanic. But in that moment, I just felt so sad for Jingles. It was like Jingles was hated his whole entire life.
I literally wrote down poor Jingles and the crazy women in his life.
Literally. But it's like,
Go from his mom to the lady he loves. It's like everybody.
Had to give her a little push.
Yeah, because I'm like, but it all came like full circle in that moment. It was like literally everything was happening because the mom started it. You know what I mean? Because of, you know, the trauma that she went through. But it was like, she feels it's his fault. So it's like anything that he goes through, she's gonna like, you know, ruin the whole time. And that's what she said. She was like, I hated you. I wanted you to die. It was meant for you, type of thing. Like, if moving forward, anything, I don't even care that you're
that day.
Oh, God.
It should have been you.
I was like, so heartbreaking to hear.
I was like, wow.
I honestly felt him in that moment. You know what I mean? It was like, I've never heard that from my parents, you know? That would kind of suck. But it's
I
like,
would hope not.
Yeah.
Like, dang.
I'm like, I'm the only girl in my family, so it's like.
I'm like, that moment is like, that's a punch in the gut. I mean, that's a
super
stab to the gut more than the literal stab to the gut. But the fact that she just point blank is like, I don't like you. I want to take everything that you love.
She's like,
and
I don't care.
I saw that you were happy with Margaret, so that's why I picked Margaret. You were super pining over that girl, so I figured I would take away the thing that made you happy. I'm your mom. I'm a bitch.
I thought her line to him about Bobby, his son, having you as a father, he's better off dead. I was like, oh God.
What I know, it's just like, she's a horrible mom.
Like,
oh my God.
About this, because this is what killed me. Is she sitting here saying, I did this to Margaret. I turned Margaret into a monster just to hurt you. I will do anything I can to hurt you. And then he goes, I only have one Achilles heel. It's my son, Bobby. The only thing I care about in the world. And I was like, what are you doing?
I know, but she already knew. She already knows.
I was going to say, I feel like she would have to know.
She knows.
I feel like she has to know that he had a son out there.
I don't know, because she was like, you have a son?
She's like Satan's wife at this point right now. So it's like, I feel like she knows.
She seems like she's just she's not Satan's homeboy like Ramirez. I think that he just told her this because she then later finds out that Bobby is the child's name and that he's doing everything he can to protect it. And that's when she has this moment of, okay,
like a heartfelt moment.
You should kill yourself instead of letting Ramirez kill you, so that way you can come back and you can keep being all murdery. Which does seem very much like she's just doing her Margaret whispers
exactly.
again.
I was like, that was super sketchy because it was like, mom fashion. It was like, oh, sweetie.
And of course, as a child, even as a son, I mean, you could tell when he was looking at her as a boy, like he just wanted her love.
Oh, for
and
sure.
So that has never gone away. Even now, when he's staring at her ghost-like corpse and she's telling him horrible things, he still wants her to love him the way that she loved Bobby, and it's never going to happen.
Like she didn't love him even before Bobby because she says,
looking like at the table, she was like, "You're reading comic books." And
no, I'm saying before Bobby existed. I'm saying he was born because she says from the moment that you were born, I knew that you were a parasite. It feels like she treated him like garbage his whole life, and then his younger brother came along and he saw. Even more heartbreaking, the other side of the coin that she is capable of love, just not for him.
Super heartbreaking.
Which is
horrible.
Yeah. I did like the little comic book references, though, too. Because I was like, I already know that I hate this bitch. Because she's like, you should spend less time with comics, then maybe you'd have friends. And I was like, you should suck it.
Don't you want to be liked?
I wonder why she hated him so much. I wonder if it had something to do with her husband, relationship with her husband or whatever. Like maybe he reminded her of him or something.
To be honest, say that he gets as tall as the dad, and it seems like maybe they had something because they said that the dad died. He was one of the 400,000 souls
in the
that
war.
was taken in the war. But it seems like there is more to that story.
Yeah, there's definitely some underlying hate in there. But I was like, not really like in typical fashion, but it almost is kind of like common that it's like, you know, like when the moms like have that bad relationship with the dad, like usually the child, they
take
look
it out on the child.
Yeah, they definitely look at you as like a spawn of Satan, literally. So it's like, you know what I mean? She like hated him from definitely day one.
But it's what's interesting is they both have the same fathers. The way that they set it up is that it makes it seem like, so that's why I think that there's more to it, because I agree with you. But the way that they have it set up is it seems like it should be a normal dichotomy.
I was actually going to add to that too, because I was going to say, to be honest, I kind of felt like she was probably looking at him almost as like the ugly duckling, because it was like after that, literally going into like, oh, let's go swimming. It was like every kid after that was like, hey, you fat kid, da, da, da. You know, it was like all jokes about him being overweight. And so it's like that could probably be it too. It was like she almost probably looked at him as like, you know, this ugly little flat little slob.
Maybe
you know?
he looked like his father more, and therefore she directed all her hatred.
Literally.
And maybe Bobby was actually somebody else's
The
kid.
milkman.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe the
milkman's kid.
Milkman,
The milkman.
bring more than milk, if you know what I'm saying. But yeah, so this whole thing basically comes to a head of they're at this festival, and the ghosts have their plan to get their revenge. He's going to try to stop it from happening and to focus on Ramirez. Ramirez, meanwhile, is not taking the ghosts' little plan to heart at all, because he's just like, I'm here to slash and kill. I don't care what you guys are doing. Gaja Gugu? No. You be Billy Idol or you be nothing. You are one-hit wonders.
He's on his own path of like killing. Like
too shy to die, baby.
Exactly. It was funny because he was like, what did he say? He was like, when you sign your life over to the devil. I kind of thought he was talking to Lyle. Like
he was.
Did he like did Lyle talk like already like sell his soul to the devil, or was that just? Oh, okay. See, I was like, I didn't know if that was like Ramirez just talking, or if it was like Lyle was one of them type of thing.
No, Limmel was...
Or Limmel, sorry.
Limmel, yeah, it's... He was like the lead singer who said... If, again, tying it into the 1980s, everybody losing their mind, the never-ending story that became so big on Stranger Things is referenced here. He's like, I could never sing that. That's from my solo album. I can only sing Too Shy. Those little subtle references are what just set the show off and make it an entirely different level. Just absolutely incredible. But the fact that, then they're then implying that Limmel from Gaja Gugu signed his soul to the devil for the hit Too Shy. And only the hit Too Shy.
You only get one song. It's like you only get one. Choose one.
And I also love, did you catch Margaret's Firefest reference?
No, I missed it.
Oh my God, you guys, okay, so I lost it. So Margaret went full freaking Ja Rule and was like, oh, what? Like, they need food? Fine. Give them a Dixie cup of water and some bread. And
oh my God, okay, yeah.
And it was flat out, And Trevor's like, you can't do that. You're charging $1,000 a head. And I was like, Firefest.
That's hilarious.
Yep.
You know
Trevor is the guy who would suck some D for water. If you haven't seen the documentary, you don't know what I'm talking about.
I was like, little sidebar, I was like, I didn't even see that. I heard about the Fire Festival, but I didn't get into the documentaries.
Oh my gosh,
like all the stuff
very
that so I'm like,
entertaining.
see, that's probably why I didn't like catch it like that. But
there's straight up as a guy who was like, I guess I'm sucking some D for water. And I was like, this is who I want on my team. Like, if I ever am working, I'm like, that's my project manager right there. If anybody gets hired off of Firefest, that man, only one.
Wasn't his name like Andy or something like that?
Andy, something like that. I don't know.
That's hilarious.
His name was Take One for the Team. Yeah, that was his official name. And he did not have to, by the way, just to clarify. And we'll get back into our show now. But, yeah, what did you think of Courtney Leslie Jordan discovering the dead Gaja Gugu band on the bus as he's bringing the gift basket?
I got you some goodies. It's so cute. But it was cute.
It was funny.
It was just, I don't know, it's like perfect, but it's like he has no idea what's going on. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he has no idea about Margaret's past and like how Ramirez is pretty much haunting the whole entire camp, waiting for Billy Idol to show up. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm like, ooh, that's interesting.
I want to talk about Trevor getting it on with Ghost.
Yeah, so let's talk about that because Montana has already established she can feel pleasure. They can bang.
Yeah. But between a live person and a dead person?
This is what
Ray and
blows
Brooke
my
did
mind. Well, this is what,
Oh, that's right. That's right. They did do it. Ghost sex again.
And you don't remember your ghost sex?
I
It was your
remember
first
now.
time.
I was like, that episode.
Yeah, Ryan in the booth, killing it like the serial killers on the show with his song selection. But yeah, the thing is, though, we had 2 seasons of this show about how Murder House and Apocalypse, if a dead person bangs a living woman and she has that living baby, the apocalypse can happen.
Right.
So they've got to stop banging everybody. They're gonna start the apocalypse.
Before somebody gets pregnant.
But this is slasher movies, so they're always banging all the time. Banging and dying. That's
banging and dying and banging after they're dying and then dying again and
I just
killing
hope they
some
have
more
like
banging.
a ghost reference in terms of the movie where like one of the ghosts comes up behind Trevor living and
You know what? If they're gonna do it ever, they have pottery at summer camp. It's
Making
like
pottery
class.
It's more archery class than anything.
Anyway.
If they don't have a ghost reference in this, I 100% am with you. I will be livid.
Flip the table.
Flip the table. But kind of flipping the story. Like, how did that?
Yes.
Our B storyline here, before we dive into talking about what's going on the other side of the tracks with Brooke and Donna, any last thoughts on what's happening here in Camp Redwood, other than the fact that Trevor's pretty gross for not asking any questions and just immediately putting his wiener in a dead woman?
You look so great. I know you're dead, but
I don't
got
care
unfinished
what you
business.
are. I don't care
waiting
what
for
you
this.
are. I hate my wife and I have this wiener. So we've already referenced how it's good for cleaning bathrooms and cleaning out pipes. So you got them dead pipes.
He was excited. It
Let
was
me
like, well,
snake
if
'em.
Margaret thinks I have a little pendulum, then it's like Montana thinks I just have like a rocket here. It's like, let me blast
More
off.
pendulum than pendulum, if you ask me. But anyway.
It's going to be a setup watching.
Hey!
Ooh, I was going to say a prediction. Let me wait. Sorry.
Little teaser.
I know. Sorry. Yes. Let's get into Brooke and Donna, though.
Yeah, so Brooke and Donna, we've left off with Donna basically trying to redeem herself after realizing that she's kind of set everything in motion by releasing a serial killer. Wasn't a good idea. Who would have guessed?
Who would have thought?
So to try to make it right, she kills Brooke with her lethal injection that we find is actually a medicine. Yeah. Baclofen.
That's an F, not a T.
For muscle spasms
Baclofen.
and MS.
Yeah, but if you OD just right, then you can be basically dead for a little bit and then come back to life just feeling like absolute horseshit. So we see her tied up
that real, by the
misery
way?
style.
Is that a real drug?
I think
Yeah,
it is.
I
I'm
think
just
so.
curious. Just
Yeah.
in case.
So, I mean, she
need
said it was for MS. So
Don't tell
You know it.
Alexa none of us are safe. I don't trust it.
I am dressed like Brooke right now, and you know how badass she
know,
becomes.
like-
I know. She
Do you
got
have needles with you?
super into it.
syringes.
No. But yeah, so we have this situation where Brooke is now basically being nursed back to health, ironically, from fake nurse Rita, who is now nurse Donna. What did you guys think of this literal turning where Brooke takes the needle and then confronts her and she's like, look, is this another one of your sick games? Why are you doing this? And Rita explaining, no, I just feel bad.
I just thought that was selfish. I mean, she's just like, there are good things and bad things that happen to us when we die. I want to go to where the good things are. That's just basically saying, hey, I want to make sure karma doesn't get me in the end. So I'm just going to try to be a good person from here on out. Hopefully it works.
Well, we see the irony of that as karma is literally brought up point blank, where it's like, maybe not going to work for you, Donna.
I kind of expected Brooke to turn on Donna, though, and I was actually wanting it to be sooner, but I kind of was like glad it was almost kind of like days were passing where it was like daytime, nighttime, and her having those like, moments where she was like fighting back and, being tied up, going through those like withdrawals. I mean, yeah, that withdrawals and stuff or whatever. But at the same time, I was like, girl, are you sitting here trusting her right now? You know what I mean? So when she turned, I was like, oh, okay, finally. But it's like, I wouldn't trust anybody either. All the stuff that Brooke went through, it's like I'd be like sleeping with one eye open too. I'm like looking at Donna, especially Donna, like the lies that she's told these last 6 episodes. I'd definitely be like looking at her like, girl, what are you doing this for?
What did you guys think about her whole thing about her being incarcerated throughout the 80s, and the 80s were America's morning? And my morning was in lockup, and I had 1,825 days. I mean,
I thought she looked pretty damn good for being in prison for so long.
I know, right? I was like, okay.
She didn't age at all.
That's what I thought. I was like, damn, you look great. Good. Your skin's great.
What did you think, though, about her saying, look, even though I know that I'm going to be getting this passport, I will have my new life. I can start over clean. What did you think about her deciding, no, I see this article about this Camp Redwood Music Festival. I have to go there. I need to kill Margaret. This is my purpose.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Exactly, yeah. I was like, it was the revenge that's needed.
Brooke?
Yeah, I do. No, she hasn't been, honestly, my favorite character this whole season. I liked her, but I'm not like, she wasn't my favorite. But now I'm like, Team Brooke. I really respect her. She's been through a lot. She's strong, and I think she has the potential of taking Margaret down. And I'm glad she's not letting it go. If she let it go, it'd be like Jingles. Jingles let it go. It's still a reoccurring problem. They can't. That's the whole point. The whole point is that we have to face our problems head on.
Yeah, she's still kind of giving me like badass, like Jamie Lee Curtis vibes. Because it's like, you know, Jamie Lee started off as kind of like, oh, scared, you know what I mean? Not really sure what's going on. But now she's like, after a while, turned into this badass, like, you know what? I'm going to like get shit done. And it's like, I think Brooke is at that level now. It's like,
it's cool.
She's definitely going to be that final girl, I feel like.
I love that, too, that we had the kind of Halloween references that you're making now on our Halloween episode.
Yes.
And we'll wait until we get to our slashback, but we had one Halloween reference on the actual show from an 80s show, too. Everything is so Inception, it's so meta. There was also a moment, too, that when the girls are talking, the song that plays when they're like, hey, you know, you haven't missed all of the 80s. You can still go back to one of these little roller rinks. And I loved this, you know, little roller rink thing. But Armageddon It is what plays from Def Leppard, which we've seen Ryan Murphy make very, very, very subtle references to things. If there is the potential of another apocalyptic baby happening, having Armageddon playing in the background might be a little reference. Maybe. But I do have to ask you guys, this is a little off from the story, but just personally, did you buy that Brooke would wear an outfit like that to the roller rink? Because I'm like, that freaking top, like, you hit one bump and you have just lost both boobies on the floor.
She looked real cute.
It was cute as hell. I was like, oh my God, that outfit is cute.
I literally own that outfit in my closet right now. I was like, damn, Brooke, like that. She looked cute. She looked great. But I mean, it's kind of like her transitioning from the sweet little girl that she was to the badass woman that she is, and we got to see
it's almost like Sandy in Grease.
Yes,
it was.
I definitely got that.
Her whole outfit, even with like the shoulder, like.
And it was like, look, literally, and that was when Sandy turned into a badass. Yeah. It was like she started off a little nerdy, and then it was like after going through all that stuff with Danny Zuko, it was like, she's like, I'm not taking this anymore. Like, I'm fine. I'm hot.
Now, talking too about our very, very exciting cameos, in addition to Lily Rabe, we also had Dylan McDermott, who went from crying and wanking it out a window from season 1 to now being like, très cool.
Bruce.
Like, what did you guys think of Bruce? I mean, did you feel from the second that you saw Bruce watching them that there was something up?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Straight up. As a woman, you're like, no, the bad vibes all around. I don't know. He was a creep.
Stalking from the bushes.
Yes.
Wasn't he like peering through the trees or something? Like, I don't know.
What did you think, though, about this whole progression, too, of Bruce and about the ladies feeling obligated to give him a ride because of the whole karma thing?
It was manipulation at its finest.
He messed with the car. He did that to their car.
Absolutely.
He was the distributor cap.
Yes, he did. And, I mean, the whole karma thing, that was manipulation at its finest.
Absolutely, yeah, because he's just like, oh, I believe in karma, ladies, or something like that. It was like, okay, now you like guilt tripping them. They're like, oh crap, he just fixed our car.
What do you think about him? Them literally saying karma and having this be a weapon, being the idea of karma being a weapon, feeling that you need to do something to make amends, to be that is being weaponized, and then we see kind of the same thing happening at Redwood. Mm-hmm. Did you feel that it was too on the nose having it explained like that, or did you like that we kind of had those two parallels?
No, I feel like it was perfect. Yeah, I love the both parallel, distribution like that, because I was like, I didn't want it to be like too straight on, I'm like, but everything was, I feel like it was executed perfectly.
Yeah. And I liked Rita's line, once a guy goes under my hood, he's not a stranger anymore.
Hey. I also like that Rita didn't die, because we definitely saw in the next week on, we were worried that Rita was going to die. But instead, there is this whole great plan that comes up after we see that Bruce is actually not the best, and he ends up gunning down the cop and then rear-ending them. Brooke wakes up in a horrible predicament of you have to drag your friend to her death in the most horrific way. What did you guys think of her plan to hit reverse? Because to me, I was like, this is a risky plan. You could just be mowing down your friend.
I thought several different options. One, okay, when it was like, she insinuated, it was like that look where she was looking down at the gun. I was like, dang, what if she takes the gun and there's no bullets? Now you're like automatically shit out of luck, because now he's mad, But at the same time, it was almost executed like too well for them both to be like knocked out. It almost seemed like the plan was already there. You know what I mean? Because it was like she hit the reverse, then it was like Donna woke up, but then automatically perfect timing, she laid back. And the truck flew over her and then got up at the same time and then turned the rope around to like choke him. You know what I mean? I was like, how? You know what I mean? It didn't seem like it was like, it felt like impulse. You know what I mean? It felt like it was a little planned, but it was like, how would that be planned if they were both knocked out? I don't know. I was confused.
I honestly thought that Brooke was gonna off Rita at that point. I thought that Brooke was just gonna be like, you know what? I don't really need this woman anyway. She contributed to potentially killing me at one point, and screw her. Like, I thought Brooke was.
You believed it?
I thought Brooke was to the point where she was like, over everyone. I need to get to Camp Redwood, and you all can die. I don't give a crap about any of you.
I love, though, that they were able to, because I was with you, too, and I love that they had this psych out so perfectly, and then even had, because this is all very also direct allusion to Death Proof, the Quentin Tarantino movie. They have so many references to Death Proof in this, but then having them tie him up and chop off his thumbs so that he can't hitchhike. I mean, what did you think?
Or play video games.
Yeah.
Or masturbate.
The worst.
Ever.
I know, right? Now he'll literally be crying and masturbating because he's like, I can't.
Both hands.
It happens once in one season, and I'm like, this is not what Dylan McDermott should be known for. I apologize. He's a phenomenal actor. I apologize. But having this then end with them coming back to Camp Redwood and then having them team up now, seeing them both going for this mission, do you feel that this was a satisfying conclusion for them? Are you excited to see what's going to happen next in these next two episodes?
Oh yeah, for sure. Definitely. I feel like it's almost like a full circle thing. It's like it started at Camp Redwood. Now it's going to end at Camp Redwood. So it's like everybody link up to kill Margaret.
Yeah, I'm excited for Brooke to get there. I'm not sure if I was a hundo P on board with her just being able to accept Rita and just be like, all right, well, you tried to kill me earlier and you set a serial killer loose in the camp that killed a bunch of my friends as well, and it was a big experiment, but you're trying to be good now because you want karma to be good to you. And it just felt a little too forgiving for her at this point, but maybe she feels like she needs her as a vehicle.
We've seen how forgiving,
not just for her vehicle,
but an actual, like a metaphorical and a literal vehicle. But we've also seen Brooke has been very forgiving even from the beginning. So even her at her most badass, is she still?
I know, but she's a hardened criminal now. Though she's been in jail, she's counted
5 years.
She's counted the ceiling.
I will say the transition of Jingle's mom saying that you were a poison to then them playing Poison from Alice Cooper and having it lead into that shot with the girls. This episode had some moments that made me so excited and also very sad that there's only 2 episodes left.
I know.
Now, we are running a little low on time here. We still need to get to our special segments, our news and gossip, and our predictions, so we got to do this real fast. But we do have our special segment, our 80s slashback. And there was a lot of references this episode, right?
Alexa, you gonna let us know? I'm like, we started off with the Friday the 13th.
Well, the one thing I figured out earlier was just Friday the 13th with the whole, mother stuff. That was my. I was like, this is straight out of Friday the 13th, but that was basically all I picked up on.
I caught more this episode than any other episode that we found because they had Doogie Howser, the Halloween episode, playing on the TV.
Oh, you know
that she was watching.
Yeah,
okay. Like little Neil Patrick Harris, who then kills Emma Roberts' character in Freak Show.
Yes.
Grown up Neil Patrick Harris. So it was like a whole full circle. I was like, I love that if they're going to use an 80s thing, they use Doogie Howser. Because it was like NPH isn't going to be here this season, but shout out to little baby NPH. Thank you. And I also lost it when Bruce was talking about the thing that freaked them out that they said get out of the car is the gang high beam initiation story from Urban Legend. So if you've seen Urban Legend, the whole movie is about all of these urban legends. The biggest one being the gang high beam initiation is what it's called, where you drive. If you flash your lights at somebody whose lights are off, they come back, they run you off the road.
Right.
If you have not seen Urban Legend, it is Jared Leto at his finest, and I mean his finest. The movie is fine. But yeah, so I liked that one. There was also, in addition to the Friday the 13th, the Death Proof reference. Yeah, the last one was the ones with Death Proof there. So kind of a lot this episode.
Yeah,
There's
cool.
a lot going on. It's pretty neat. But we also need to dive into a little bit of our news.
And this is super exciting, you guys. Ooh,
News and gossip.
Yeah!
AfterBuzz TV News.
I know. There's a little delay. We got to bootleg it.
So I actually got the chance to go to the American Horror Story 100th episode celebration. Yeah! And so this is me with Ryan Murphy
Look how cute
himself.
she is.
I just about lost it. I lost my mind. But I got to talk to a lot of the big stars that were there. That's
Xavier!
Yes, Cody Fern, who
Look at his
also
style.
confirmed that I know. I was like, your style
You're such a badass
is, oh
in
my
fashion.
God.
Oh my
And everyone
goodness.
is so gorgeous. I was like, get away from me. You're all too perfect. But Cody Fern did confirm that Michael Langdon was his favorite character over Xavier.
Ooh, perfect. How
Hopefully.
funny.
Yeah. And then this is the whole carpet. Gus
Look at
channeled Evan Peters' season 1 look. His like skull
that's
face
cute.
look. And you can barely tell the stripes in his jacket are bones.
Oh, wow. How funny.
So they're little bones. And then Angelica Ross showed up in a Clover's costume.
That's amazing.
To quote, tell the serial killers to bring it on.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
hilarious.
That's awesome.
I love her. She's amazing.
You're going to die in there.
You're going to die in there. And it was an event to die for. Billy Lord with these dope contacts too, crushing it. If you guys also want to check out these interviews, they are at meaworldwide.com. And I was very excited because Angela Bassett, I think we have the photo with her. Oh yeah, Zach Villa.
Ramirez.
Zach Villa, by the way, looked incredible, and I got him to confirm who he would want to play and headline his own Camp Redwood Festival.
Ooh, who would he say?
He said Tears for Fears.
Oh, that's amazing.
He also
Look at
has
the
a song-
gorgeous.
Thank
Oh, my
you.
goodness.
He also has a song Revolver out right now that's really good.
Oh,
that you guys
yeah,
should check
yeah.
out. But Angela Bassett, this is the big one. There is an article too that you guys can check out about this. She actually broke some news with us that she would like to do a movie based on Elizabeth Cotten, the famous blues musician who coined the term the cotton picking guitar playing, the idea of turning your guitar upside down if you're left-handed, playing with your thumb.
Yeah.
So very excited about that. As you can see, I was losing
so
my
perfect,
mind.
you guys. I'm not even gonna lie. Every time Elena posted anything on her story,
Yes,
I was like
true.
replying to every picture, like, "Oh my god!" I was fanning. I was such having like a fangirl moment. I was so happy for you, but I was like, "Oh my god!" I feel like she was there for like all of us.
Elena,
it was
did
like,
you tell them all about our show?
I
know.
did.
I was, like, hoping. I was like, oh, did you tell them
actually.
after
So they have very, very busy schedules as
Right.
well.
Absolutely.
But maybe we'll be able to. I don't want to make any promises, so we can't keep a maybe if schedules allow. We may have some special guests.
That would be
maybe joining us as well. So
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks. If not, if we need to
If
come back
not, I
after
think we
season,
might
look, I'm like,
have-
if we need to
yeah.
come back after season, you guys definitely tune in.
yeah, if we end up having to do a let's just talk about how dope all 9 are. We might just have to do that. But talking about how amazing this season is, let's talk about some quick predictions for the penultimate
AfterBuzz
episode.
TV predictions.
The second to last episode. What do you guys think are going to happen next week and to close out the whole series?
Oh, that's a lot. So I think Rita is gonna probably die helping Brooke try to kill Margaret. I honestly think that'll happen because, and then that'll give her her redemption and she'll probably
Her
live a good
homegoing.
life. Yeah, her good afterlife.
She's the only one who talks about the afterlife, and like the possibility of it could be good.
I know.
So
Could we be
Hopefully.
losing Donna?
Yeah, possibly. And then also, I think that Trevor is going to be the one that probably kills Margaret. I feel like that might be what happens. I don't know. I think that might be.
You know what? To be honest, I'm like, I'm still kind of waiting why we haven't got Chet's backstory yet. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, are we going to get a backstory for Chet?
And
or
where's
is
the
it just
lunch lady?
Where is she? Yeah, I'm like,
where's
it's kind of
Birdie?
a lot of unanswered questions going on right
I
now.
felt
But
like, and especially when they set up that it was like, oh, my mom's a lunch lady. I was like, why is she not like Afterlife's buddies with Birdie? Like
know.
these kids, right? Like there's almost so much salt we can add.
it's like, oh, what afterlife did Birdie go off to? It's like, dang, she went somewhere like
Maybe
somewhere
she's
tropical.
the only one that like went to heaven or wherever the afterlife is.
Yeah. But I was thinking that too, and I was like, to be honest, I think it's gonna be her assistant. What's Leslie?
Courtney?
Yeah, Courtney. I kind of feel like it may be him. I'm like, ooh.
If Courtney kills Margaret, I'm here for it.
I am too. That's why I honestly just feel like it's gonna be somebody we don't think of yet, because there's so many people that want to kill her.
wanna kill her.
You know what I mean? It's gonna
It's
be
like
somebody
where's
that we
Waldo except
Everyone
killing
does.
exactly.
version.
It's gonna be somebody we don't expect. So I think it's gonna be Courtney. I'm
I'm
flipping my decision.
I like that. I selfishly just want it to be Chet just because I want to see more Gus on screen. I feel like we're not seeing enough Kentworthy, but whatever. Yeah, I think that it's going to wrap up where there's going to be a big tie-in somewhere because we haven't had as many yet. I think that this may potentially lead to Apocalypse 2.0 potential for demon baby. Half human, half dead baby, and Trevor might be starting that apocalypse with
Might
that
be.
pendulum,
Might be.
and Montana might be given. Well, no, because the dead, it has to be. The dead can't give birth to the people. It has to be a living woman impregnated by a dead
somebody
man.
dead.
Well, Brooke.
That's why I
might
was
be-
like, yeah, I was like,
no.
Brooke, you never know. Look, Brooke might be pregnant by Ray.
No, it's been over 1,000 days.
Yeah, it's way too long. There's no.
It's a little demon. Who knows? How do you count demon baby days? Like,
But you guys let us know what you think is going to happen in the chat below. Also, if you guys have any American Horror Story themed costumes that you are wearing for Halloween this week, send us pictures and we'll post them in our news and gossip next week as well. Until then, where can everybody keep up with you, Brooke? Alexa.
You can find me on Instagram at Alexa Cappy, Cappy.
yes, and see, with our news and gossip, this is exactly why you should follow us on Instagram. So yeah, like, follow us, you guys. My Instagram is at @theonly_KaylaRenee.
And I'm Elena Jordan, so you can find me on Twitter at Elena Jordan, because I'm really creative, and on Instagram at Elena J. Jordan. And of course, you can again find me on MEA Worldwide, that's MEAWW.com, interviewing your favorite celebrities. That's where you'll find all that American Horror Story goodness. And we'll see you guys next week.
Shout out to all our viewers. We'll
Shout out to
you guys
everybody.
out
Happy
next week.
Halloween.
Be
Mwah.
safe.
Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV.
Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners.